So, welcome back to the MANvFAT Wales podcast, and I'm really excited today to be joined by the amazing Bedders, Martyn Bedford, who is hopefully going to come on today to talk to us about the fact that football, MANvFAT football, is all about fatness and losing weight, but actually, when you get that weight gone, it's about focusing on your fitness. So, welcome, Martyn, to the podcast.
Good evening or good afternoon, whichever you class it as.
Well, it depends when people are watching it. This could be being recorded first thing in the morning, but no one will ever know. No one will ever know. So I'm going to come over to you straight away quickly and just talk about your personal journey. So how did you get involved in MANvFAT? How long have you been here for and what have you been doing?
I think it'll be about 4 years this year. If you take out the COVID year, so 3. One of my 11-a-side friends at the time, Craig Robinson, he'd seen me post about losing weight and doing different things and never really working. She introduced me to MANvFAT. So yeah, let's give it a go. Why not? I've tried every other thing. Didn't really work. So I met him outside the Peterborough United's football club, where our main get-together was at the time. And me being me, I didn't want to go in until he was there. Basically, my mindset was like, oh no, you're going to be the biggest one in the room. People are going to stare at you and all that. So when he actually turned up, went in with him, and it was quite refreshing to know that there's actually other people in your position when you walk into that room, but they're all there. No one's going to judge you. No one's going to look at you differently because you're bigger or whatever, because you're all part of the pun, you're all in the same boat. And it was nice to be part of that community, if that makes sense. So he introduced me to a few people. He's been around for a few months and football times and all that lot. And just hearing their stories, it kind of makes you feel like, right, you're actually at ease. You haven't got to put a front on. You haven't got to put any social side thinking you're bigger than anyone else, if that makes sense. So that was quite refreshing at the time. But yeah, it was nice. I think that was the first aspect of joining MANvFAT. And then obviously you get on the scales. I think I started at about 119 kilos or 120 kilos. So back then, obviously, I'd just come out of a bad breakup. So the drink and the alcohol, the food all kind of piled on. So I'd set myself a target of a couple of kilos every other week and just getting down slowly, gradually, if that makes sense. After the first season, I didn't know whether I wanted to carry on because, some of the tackles, like we spoke off air, like some of the tackles, even 11-a-side happened. There was a few late niggles. It wasn't nothing malicious, but I suppose when you're a little bit bigger, you're a little bit slower to react. And some tackles I had in the first couple of weeks, it was quite bad. So I kind of spoke to the coach at the time, Sean, and he was like, look, it'll get better. It's easier. It's just people getting their fitness and going. And after that, I'm 110% glad I stayed. I really am, because it's changed my life in so many different ways. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and your story is inspirational because you do an awful lot around your league, around the running of the 11-a-side side of your league, and you've been on this mindset journey, and some of the stuff you post on social media. If I can come on to the next bit I was going to ask you about, which is the grafting in the gym. You will quite openly post up, or I needed that just to get my head clear, or I needed that to kind of push myself a little bit more. And getting you actually on this podcast has been a real mission because you play football, I think, 12 nights a week. You're in the gym every other day, if not every day. Your relentless drive for fitness is absolutely superb. So how did you find adding in the gym and adding in all the extra football you do? How did that affect your weight loss and your fitness?
I think it helped speed it up. So I already signed up to a gym when I started MANvFAT, but it was like, yeah, I'll go today. Yeah, maybe I won't. Can't be bothered. But then obviously when you join the MANvFAT side, you don't want to let people down come your way in. So you kind of get that extra click to go, right, I will go gym today. I'll go gym tomorrow. I'll have a rest day Wednesday. I'll go again Thursday. And obviously at the time I played Sunday league football in the morning. And it was always like, I'll go to the gym to get my blood going and I'll go and play football. But I didn't want to come down after the morning game. So I spoke to our Power League or our local football pitch, see if they were hiring slots. And it was like, right, okay, we've got a 2-hour slot. Right, let's book it. Let's get some of the lads down from MANvFAT, give them an extra incentive to push themselves as well as myself. And at the time, I think Dean Bax was still part of the Peterborough League. And I know he was one of the top losers for a little while. So I thought, right, I'm going to challenge this. So I set myself a target of going 7 or 8 times to the gym in a week. And if I'd done that, obviously if I can add one more session in, so it'd be 9 times or 10 times. And the coach, Sean Hackett, honestly, has helped me massively with the push side of things as well, and telling me what to do in the gym or how to keep myself motivated in the gym, or so like amino acids to help your recovery of your muscles. So he's been a major part in helping me keep going to the gym as much. Obviously, the social media side, you get some of your friends what all post all this different angle of doing this and doing that, and people ask you why you post on social media about the gym constantly and constantly. And for me, the mindset is if you have a good week, you can look back and say, it's because I went to the gym. If you had a bad week and you look back through your Facebook or your Instagram and you go, you've only been gym once, there you know where you've gone wrong. So for me, I've always posted it and I'll always carry on posting it. As much as a banter side from the Peterborough League, it shows. My mindset is I know if I keep doing it, I'm achieving what I need to do and I'm pushing myself further and further. But hopefully at the same time, I'm helping other people go, if he can do that, I can do that. And the weight loss helps them as well, if that makes sense. So it's progressing for them as well as it is me. I think that was another reason why I hired a pitch for 2 hours for over a year, mainly to help push other people to their weight loss goals as well.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot about Sean Hackett. I think that's a coach I need to meet. But yeah, that's really key actually. The fact that when you take a picture of an activity, lots of people do it with their food. They take a picture of their food to look back. This is what I ate through the week. I spoke to the player facilitator of Swansea League, and he does that. He does it brilliantly in terms of accountability. But you can be accountable about your daily exercise as well, your movement and all of that. So I think that's a really key tip if someone is looking to start kind of a more focus on their fitness journey is to use social media to track it. And to get the inspiration and to help other people as well, maybe inspire them. So, like I said, I think I said 12 days a week you played football. It's probably more like 13, 14. What's your football highlight then? What's the moment you're never going to forget?
So many, surprisingly. MVF based, I don't know. I mean, I've been to the Etihads for the MVF tournament a few years ago, losing on penalties in, I think, semi-final. That was a highlight for me, even though it's a downside. It was still a highlight to go to such a facility like that. And you actually feel like you're basically a footballer going to a place like that. I've been to St George's Park twice, losing to Manchester once, and then losing to Portsmouth recently. Highlighting that, I think, was... I'm going to say it. I know it has to be said against you. Scoring a worldie against your team in the group stage and doing a Robbie Keane celebration and getting called a C word by one of your players. But yeah, it was worth it because I suppose it's one of them moments what you remember. Other than that, outside of MVF, probably my Sunday League team winning the cup McCain's Cup this year, or last year now. That was enjoyable because it's just one of the moments where you achieve what you want with your weight loss, to be able to go on to an actual Saturday league or a Sunday league team and show that your fitness has improved, and you're able to do that as well. Highlight, it's going to sound really weird, but I think my highlight is just meeting so many of the lads for football. And I know you should be selfish and say your highlight, but I think my highlight is meeting a lot of the lads and hearing their stories and giving them opportunities. I run the Bedford Cup, which is at the Peterborough United Football Club, every year. Obviously, this year it's not happening. So we couldn't get really a spot for it, and there wasn't a lot of call for it. But for big players and people what probably wouldn't get 11-a-side football, to be able to walk out in a football stadium in front of their family, their kids, their grandkids or whatever, I think that's my highlight, because you won't ever change the look on their face, which also gives you a feeling of accomplishment because you're then doing something for someone else. This has never always been about me as such. I know that sounds really weird, but it's giving back to others. So I've hit what I wanted to achieve in a way, but to see other people then achieve what they can kind of gives you the good feeling about what you're doing. So I think that'd be my main highlight, is other people.
Yeah, and is it Alton Rangers that you won the cup with? I remember seeing those pictures, and and you know, when you can see a picture and you can hear it and feel it. I saw those pictures you posted, and it was definitely a wonderful team experience. Like you say, it's not to always, it's to get back involved with football, isn't it? That lots of us get here for. So what's next for you? What do you want to achieve? What's your goals for the year?
It's weird. Obviously I've been entered for the All-Star 7 team. That was a bit of a selfish choice on my part, mainly because we'd been offered another spot. It was only left back, and I wanted to send my actual 11-a-side left back, but unfortunately he's going to be away having a few beers on holiday. So I thought, do you know what? Selfish time for me. I'm going to put myself in. I play left wing. I'll drop back to left back. It's not a difference for me. But for me, that will be possibly it will be my last game with MVF. And I thought, do you know what? Let's be selfish. Let's end on a high in a stadium, not one you've played in already, but play alongside other lads what I've met through the years, from Portsmouth players, Northampton players, even the lad what we played Taunton the other week, Stuart. That's his name, Stuart. He's in there to play alongside some of them and have a laugh with them, and then end my MVF career there, I think will be a perfect ending. The future of the year, don't know, keep killing the gym, I suppose. Try and help as many people as I can with their weight loss. Maybe debate doing a PT course and becoming a PT. I'm not too sure. I've not really thought that far ahead.
All brilliant ideas. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that, and I'm hoping it gets some type of stream, that All-Star game, that North v South. That should be a really inspirational thing, because there's lots of people there who've come a long way. It's going to be good football as well. So in terms of the 11s moving forward then, there's lots and lots and lots of new leagues happening, and I know Peterborough are big in the 11s. They've got 2 teams. You know, there's loads of matches going on for Peterborough, which is your team. I can see your top on there. What are your top tips for a league that are just starting out, from probably one of the most experienced 11s managers? What would you say to anyone starting out?
Just make sure that you're doing it for the right reason. It's not all about the quality of the players, even if you're doing friendly games. It's all about having fun to start with. Okay, when you come to the national cup games, it's a bit more serious, and it can get serious with who you have to choose, and a bit more understanding by certain players on, look, they know they're not potentially going to be fit enough to play in it, so they'd rather just stay to friendly games. Obviously, myself being the first team manager, I've got two decent blokes in Vince and Nick, what do the reserves, well, I kind of help them, and they're all about players coming in, having fun, trying to get people back into the 11s. So for me, my advice, find a good group of 20 or 30 people, if your league is that big, obviously. Find a kit, find some local businesses what are happy to help push and promote weight loss. Some people might have their own business and they show it that way. And they're 9 times out of 10, they're willing to sponsor. Obviously, we've got some good sponsorships in the Boot Chamber, who's James Williams. If you like your old classical Predators or T90s, he's the man to speak to. Or another lad called Peter Durham, who's got his own cleaning business, and they've both got behind the 11s, whether it's the first or the reserves. I know with one of the first team kits, we were sponsored by Spalding United, whose owner is the owner of Bad Rhino, I believe, which has helped a lot of bigger people with football clubs and football kits and so on and so on. But yeah, my advice is mainly just a good group of lads who all want to do the same thing, whether it's win, lose. Even if you lose a game, don't be downbeat. This will be very hypocritical. Go to a pub after, have a beer as a reward for doing 20 minutes on the pitch or 30 minutes or 80 minutes. Doesn't matter how long. Just make sure after your game, have a treat of a social side with your team, because it makes it more enjoyable in the long run. That's as much advice I could say, to be honest.
Yeah, I like that. And when Newport eventually start 11s, I want that it to be, it's not about a match, it's about the social side, it's the club.
Yeah.
I really like that, and I can definitely see that's part of your MANvFAT Peterborough 11s journey. So huge thanks for going on. I know you're still, as we record this, you're still in the tournament, 4-2 deficit versus Taunton, but I reckon you're going to do it.
We'll overturn it, hopefully, as long as the weather's nice down there. I've got belief in my team. They've all backed it. A lot of them at times don't like travelling far, but as soon as we lost the first leg, said, right, who's in for the second? And all of them put their hands up, par 3. What they've got, one of the lads got a baby on the way that weekend. One's son's birthday, so them two are not there. But I've got some others coming in what weren't available in the first leg. And they've all booked the hotels already. They've already on about travelling down the day before. So we'll overturn it, and we'll either have Weston-super-Mare or Northampton next round. Ideally, Northampton's a nice local little derby. We claim the cup we lost to them in the last game, but yeah, we'll do it. We'll get far, hopefully.
Best of luck. Hope it goes really well. Thanks ever so much for being on, mate.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.